If you're only relying on Etsy to drive traffic to your shop, then you're already behind. Let me explain why. So, hi, I'm Daisha. Welcome back. On this channel, I talk about my small business, how I use social media marketing to drive traffic to that small business, and just the creation of products and order packing, things like that. So, if that interests you, then please come along. So, today I want to talk about how important it is to have different sources of traffic coming into your Etsy shop. Just relying on Etsy is not a good strategy because things are up and down. There can be a lot of competition and you are competing with lots of people. But if you're bringing people that are interested outside of Etsy to Etsy to shop for you, then that's going to help drive your sales, which is going to help Etsy notice you. So, I'm going to share my screen in just a second and just talk about some things that I think are important to remember when you're filming, just some ideas to give you because you might be thinking, what am I supposed to do? How do I even get started? Especially if you're not already in the social media space. So, I'm going to show you just some ways that I like to market and go from there. And then at the end, I'm going to take a video that I took the other day and show you how I would edit it to best perform on social media in short form content. So, come along. All right, so like I said, I'm going to take you through my social media strategy and show you a little bit of what I do and what I think you should not do. So let's get into it. So what we're going to cover is just how to market your Etsy shop using social media. And this will honestly work for any small business. My do's and don'ts on social media and how to actually create and edit content, which I'm going to show you later. I'll stop sharing my screen and show you how I do that. So you might be thinking, why do I need social media? What is the importance of using it for your small business? So first of all, that's free marketing. That's an easy way for you to just talk about yourself without running ads, without having to pay someone else to do it. That is just you marketing yourself for free. You're also brand building. So you are putting yourself out there. People start associating you with this brand. You can do this with colors, with your themes, things that you do, your logo. That is all part of brand building. And the more you keep showing up and showing your brand, the more people will associate that with you. And repeat customers. So when you have start building a following and people are supporting you and wanting to watch your content and things like that, when you pop back up showing new products or things like that, people will want to buy from you again, especially if they've had a positive experience. When we're looking at social media platforms, first thing you need to decide is which ones should you be on, because it's not necessarily important to be on all of them. And some of them might make more sense for you at the moment than others. So currently I am posting on three of the four of these. I'm doing Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Instagram is my main focus for business promotion. YouTube, I've mostly been using it to show behind the scenes of how I built my business and what I'm doing. And then TikTok gets the residuals of what I post on Instagram. So whatever I post on Instagram just automatically gets posted on TikTok as well. The one I have not dabbled in really is Facebook. Now I have shared um like my mini vlogs on Facebook for my friends and family, but I have not actually made my own brand page for Facebook. And maybe that's something I need to look into, but I have not done that yet. So the next thing you need to decide is your niche. And I hear the word niche all the time. Niche, niche, niche. You need a niche down, blah, blah, blah. But I do think it's important to a point to be able to find out what you're known for and be able to be a voice in that space. So to me, to me, an account that just shows everything and you're not doing anything well, it's not going to perform as well as someone who's niche down and they're specific, but they have their specific audience that cares about what they're doing. So that's the other thing is like, who is your target audience? So for me, I make bookish content. First of all, share like reviews and things that are not related to my business at all, like funny bookish videos, stuff like that. But then I also show the bookish side of my company. So annotation kits, a blind date with a book, stickers, bookmarks, annotated books. And all of that relates back to reading. So say I owned a company where we make dog biscuits. I'm not going to be showing the books that I'm reading unless they're dog related. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't have anything to do with your audience. However, if you have dogs and you make these dog treats for your dogs, that's how it started out. If you're showing the behind the scenes of you and your dogs, taking them for a walk, things that they love, toys that they love, you can show that stuff as long
like along with your products, as long as it makes sense for the audience that you're trying to reach. So as you're getting started, we have some do's and don'ts. First of all, be consistent. Consistency is better than perfection. And then also, it's better to be consistent, post every day than go viral for one post and then not post again. So that consistency is important. And in this consistency, like I just said, you don't want to just be pushing your products. You don't want it to be every day just product, product, product. Show different things. So one day I did a pack an order with me and I showed a special order that a customer bought. The next day, it might just be me talking about a book. The day after that, I think I showed me working on a bedazzle book, like I was putting it in, and that's not for me to sell. That's just that's just for my enjoyment. One of the posts I made this week was about books that I took my mom to read. Um, so I'm not just like, here's my product, here's my product. I also like to do what I call subtle marketing. So instead of like, hey, here are these sticky notes, buy them, I would instead just be using the product in a video as I read the book. So just showing it off without being very like here. It's kind of like how in a show they might put a Coca-Cola on the table and they're not like, hey, buy Coca-Cola. You just see it and now you're thinking about it. So in my next dues is show your process. Like I said, I have order packing videos. I love to show those. I have some videos like behind the scenes on how to make bookmarks. Those do really well. So people like to see your process. It makes it more human, especially in the world where AI is so driven and driving everything. When you can show your process of what you did and give that human element, it's going to be gold versus the don't side, and that is don't copy trends blindly. There are always like trends going on. There might be like a dancing trend. You don't want to do a dance and go viral for that, and you get people following you from that dance. And what you're actually trying to like gain followers in is something completely different. So yeah, it's gonna be perfect if you are a dance person and that's what you're trying to market. But if you're just doing viral dance videos just to go viral to get followers, those followers are not going to care about the other things you have going on. It's better to actually get engaged followers than just getting people to follow you blindly. You do want to hook people in very quickly. It's like 3 seconds, a couple seconds. People's attention spans are gone, absolutely gone. So being able to get that hook right away is going to help you. Now, this might look differently. What I notice a lot and I want to talk about is people say you're doing an unboxing video. You don't want a lot of lulls where there's nothing happening. If it's slow, if you're showing you cutting the tape of the box, opening the box, taking the paper out, nobody cares. You know, you got to get straight to the point. I would honestly pre-open the box, already cut, um, like open the flaps, take whatever it is out. Boom. Like you don't need all the other stuff, the fluff in there. And that's honestly one thing that makes people scroll. So you have two types of people. You have people that are, watching these things and they're scrolling fast. But then you also have the people that are trying to stop what we call doom scrolling and they're trying to unplug some from, the social media part. So you also want, when they do engage in social media, they want whatever they're going to be watching to be high quality. So you want to make sure that you're giving that to them. And then don't ignore captions and keywords. So, like putting in those words in the caption or on the screen, that's going to help you be found by people that have looked for that content previously. So, I would definitely not skip over that. I always make sure I put the main things of whatever I'm posting in the description. So, if I'm annotating Binding 13, I'm going to make sure I talk about annotation and the book also, because then some people that just like the book might be looking it up and then they are like, oh, what is annotation? And they might, want to look more into it based off of that. So you do, like I said earlier, want to build a recognizable brand. So start putting those colors, those textures, your logo. If you want to, your face, start building that because that's going to build, it's going to make it personable for the person that's watching you or like looking at your content. And that's going to make you a real person to them and make them want to support you by seeing the process and the work that goes in behind the scenes. And do not give up too early. This is hard because it's easy to have to do something over and over and over and over and over and over again before you see any results. I'll give YouTube for that example. I have been posting on YouTube, I guess it's getting close to a year, but it's not quite. And it's been okay. It's been up and down, but for the longest, I've plateaued. For the longest, I stayed at the same amount of followers. I posted one video that did good like recently, and I got over 100 and something followers from that. And it was one of those things. It's like, man, if I had given up, I wouldn't have gotten that. And it's just trying to find ways to like keep repeating the process of what I just did. But you cannot give up too early because they're definitely not going to make that progress. So that was really cool, and it was a good reminder. And I was finally happy to have that momentum. So how do I film my content? So I'm gonna go over just a couple of things like to keep in mind before I actually show you me up and filming. Your setup. So you want, especially depending on what you have, a clean background. You want good lighting. So I do have artificial lighting that I can use, and I can show you that. Natural lighting is best, especially for photos, but you can take it till you make it. I have a stand where my phone goes, and just from there, I use that to film, and then I do use my phone. You're gonna want to get different clips, especially if you're doing videos. So like currently I've been working on doing a video in here of me working, and I'm getting different angles. Like I might put my camera here, I might put my camera over there, and just get some different like shots that make it more interesting versus nothing at all. Now, if it's a quick video or if it's a packing video, you probably don't need as much of different clips. It just mostly depends on what you're doing. And then my number one tip is to film in batches. So earlier I got back from I went to book club today, and I was like, oh, I wonder if I could do like a little series of books that I recommend your book club to read, because sometimes it's hard to figure out what books to read. So I did one video where I talked about three books that were all historical fiction. Stopped that video. I just sat down. Instead of standing up, I sat down and recorded another one right after, talking about romance books I think would be good. And then right after that, I switched the camera around a little bit and I did another set. So by batching, so recording more videos at once, you are being more productive because you're not having to set that setup up more than once. You're not having to use more brain power to think about what you want to do. It was just boom, boom, boom. So batching is one of my biggest things. And then just how I edit. So you want to keep it fast paced, like I said earlier. You're unboxing something, you do not want it to be slow. You want to cut all lulls. Basically, I cut anything that's not movement. So if it's I go out of frame, I'm cutting right when it leaves like the frame. I don't know if you can even see my hand. I would cut there, and then when I come back into frame is when I would pick up. You want to keep it very fast paced. Add captions for attention. So you can, if you're doing a lot of talking, I would definitely put the closed captions on the screen that would transcribe what you're saying, but also put in words in the caption. That way people can be able to look at that part without having to necessarily listen. Because sometimes you don't. Sometimes I'm in bed and I'm like, I can't click on this video right now because of the sound. So if I can watch the closed captions or I can read the caption, that's really helpful. And then to use simple transitions. So I don't like all the flashy like things that you can do on the editing apps. I would not recommend those. I would recommend like natural transitions, like, the classic cover your hand with the camera and taking it away to transition to something else, or just a swipe of the camera instead of like doing the flashy transitions. I think they're very distracting, and I don't ever see any videos that do well have those flashy transitions. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and I'm gonna show you more about my editing process.
Okay, I do have a confession of sorts. I have already recorded this whole thing and I hated the footage, but the actual content that I made for short form was fine. It was the long form that I didn't like. So I'm just gonna kind of re-record that and just tell you some things that I talked about in that footage because, like I said, I hated it. So I'm recording right now on my iPad because I need my phone. I shoot all my long form and short form on my phone. So I can't do both. So I'm going to share my screen in a second. Hopefully people stop texting me so you don't have to see that. But one thing I did talk about in the video that did get cut that I will tell you now is one thing I use. I got these light panels for Christmas like 2 years ago maybe. Love, okay?
So a lot of times when I'm recording, I will literally just, the panel's flat facing the ceiling, and oh geez, but it like brightens up the whole room. So like if I place this strategically, like here, the iPad's actually doing a pretty good job, and I already have lighting over here, but like as you see, it just brightens up the whole space. So in the video, I do talk about that because sometimes my office is very dark, and that helps you be able to see products better and me better. So some things, you've already watched the footage of me talking about just some things that I recommend while recording. So I'll use edits, and I feel like a lot of people don't use edits. I like it. I'm going to start a new project, and I'm going to go to my gallery because I already have the footage that I need, and I'm going to go to my videos and scroll because like I said, I recorded this part last weekend. So I'm going to grab the clips that I think belong in this, because the problem was I was also recording long form and short form at the same time, so I'm wearing the same outfit. So I'm literally just going to grab all of these, and whatever I don't need, I'll just delete it. It'll be fun. So as you can see on the screen, it says I have 13 minutes and 23 seconds of footage. Obviously, we don't even want a tenth of that, not even that. So I'm going, you want to have where there's movement. So I think I'm going to cut here. So all I did was stop the video. I'm going to hit split and get rid of that because don't need that. And cute little spin. I might stop there, but let me see what the rest of this looks like because I feel like I did it twice. Yes, okay, I remember in the video I talked about, I had one where the light was shining directly on me, and then I did one where it was shining at the ceiling just so I could play around and see which one I like better. And it's looking like I like the ceiling one better. So I'll make it where I'm already spinning, and I'll delete all that. So that'll be kind of like the intro to kind of get people, you know, interested, because I'm like spinning around and like doing too much. And then I have all this footage of me, like I pulled the bookmarks out, but they were like messed up, so I'm like fixing them, and then it's very fake, but I'm going to put them back in so I can grab them where they're already together. So I'm going to delete all of that. Show where they come in as soon as they leave the screen, where the movement's gone, cutting there. And then when I filmed this part, I hit pause on the video while I went and did the stuff, so like I don't even have to edit out a bunch because I paused it while I put the tabs on, so as it comes back in the screen, it's already ready. So I'm just going to go where there's movement. So out, back in, and they're ready to go. So I might even cut some of that part until I put that in the cup. So it was a lot of just cutting, deleting, and show off the pen. I'm going to cut there to when I already have the highlighter, because the highlighter's on the other side, so like there's no reason to waste time like going to pick the highlighter or the pen, whatever it is. And I'm literally going to cut again. And something I talked about in the footage that I cut is this video is going to also serve as two purposes. So when I can use this, the whole video, like it's, I guess I should have said this, it's a whole day of packing orders. So I have like 4 or 5 orders to pack. So I'm going to pack the whole thing in one clip to show like, hey, come pack orders a day, like a day in the life of my studio. We're packing orders for a day or something like that. But then I'm also going to show the individual things. So I can just show just me packing this kit, and it'll be like it's just a brand new video. On this one, I was trying to get it. So you saw me like struggling to get that in the package. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Dropping the stuff in. That actually went pretty smooth because I usually cut that. But I am going to cut when I reach back to get the sticker because, again, you want it to move fast, peppy. And honestly, I can duplicate this whole footage so I don't have to edit this again. And I may do that. Cut there. And then I folded it funny, so I was going to cut to the end when it actually gets fixed. It's so nice, can you, like, whatever mistakes you made, just edit it out. All right, cut there because it leaves the frame. And then this is when I make the second kit, so drop that in there. And basically I'm going to do this for the whole thing. Any lulls, anything that's like, that doesn't move the plot of the video forward, cutting it out. Like, they don't need to know that I just reached for this highlighter and then chose to go with this highlighter. So I'm going to cut that out. Show the highlighter. Go get another pen. Now, something I could do, like here when I get the pen, I could like zoom in and make this part of the screen bigger, and I might do that. It's just hard because I'm going back and forth. Like, I didn't actually show the pen, but then I showed the sticker up close. So if I did that, it would mess that part up. Cut, grab the sleeve, drop all that in. And some people do like to edit on their computer for this part. That's fine. I just have always done, I've always used my phone, so it doesn't bother me because I just always have. But that is an option. There's nothing wrong with it. Honestly, my biggest problem is my computer gets full really fast. I have an older Mac, and it just gets annoying when it's always telling me that I'm running out of space, I'm running out of memory, I can't drag this video. Okay, so I cut all of that until I actually have the bubble mailer, and then the kits are in hand, so cut all of that and drop those in. And by the way, at the end, like, I'll probably mute the beginning when I'm like doing all that squealing and hooting and hollering. That was unnecessary. But I might actually, we have two options. I can leave in me actually packing like that ASMR kind of thing and label it as ASMR. But on this part, apparently I decided to play music. So it just depends. Sometimes I like to do a voiceover too. Okay, this is weird. I'm gonna just cut this here because that was a weird clip. I don't know what I was doing for that fantasy kit. But on this one, I was actually showing like how to put the tabs on. Oh, and this was a fun one to pack. I remember it was like mostly greens. Yeah, I think this is the green. I'm just gonna skip putting some colors on there. I think this was the green deluxe sanitation kit. And I don't think I've ever packed a green one before, so that was fun. So I'm just gonna let a couple of those play, and then I'm gonna split it again and then make it where it gets to the end. So like literally skipping ahead, skip, skip, skip. Like, they don't need to see me color matching every single thing. Like just give them enough where it's like it's satisfying without overdoing it. So like right now I'm about to cut like a whole minute worth of footage. All right, and then I'll cut there to when I'm actually getting the tassel on, because sometimes I miss the hole and like it takes a second. Actually, I think this one was one that went weird, yeah, and I had to redo it. So I'm gonna literally cut all of that. You don't need to see that I messed it up. You just need to see that I got it on. And there we go, cut. Unless you're trying to do something funny, then you could leave that in there, but that wasn't my intention. Okay, I think you get the point. I forgot I gave them an extra sticker though to make up for the fact it didn't match. All right, I'm gonna keep doing the cutting and then I will come back and show you the finished product. Clock in bestie because we are packing orders. So I had a few orders to pack, so I thought I would take you along with me, starting with these romantasy kits.
I had different color arrangements for both of them, so I just kind of made those off camera and then matching just pins and highlighters that I think would match good. I'm just adding in a complimentary sticker that goes with the kit as a semblant in the sleeves. And the reason I use the sleeves is so that if the tabs fall off in transportation, you will know which kit it goes with and it looks a little bit more professional. So I do like to, be effective and not wasteful when I can, but this is just a necessary thing for what I'm selling. So I assembled both of those for this customer, drop them in, and then the thank you note goes next. And I do love these new bubble mailers that I got that replace those rigid mailers. I think they look good and it's easier to pack. I can put more in them and then also it's cheaper on me for shipping. So I loved this green annotation kit that I did next. I thought those tab colors went so cute together and this army green pen, so cute. So I don't think I've ever done a green one before, but I loved how it came together. And then I didn't really have any green stickers that fit the genre that she got, which was fantasy. So I just threw in some extra stickers to kind of make up for that. So the kit comes with the annotation reaction stickers, two small book review stickers, and one large, and a in my annotation era magnetic bookmark. As long as I have them, sometimes if I'm out, I'll put something in that just matches the genre they got. And my Books a Day logo sticker. And here I am just printing some labels as I go so I didn't mix up packages. This was a custom book order, so I edited the template for the bookmark and made it what they wanted it to say and packed those. And then I had two annotated book orders that went out to one customer. So that was really awesome. So I'm making the thank you note and putting my sticker on it. And after that, it was my last package. So I was headed to the post office. Thanks for hanging out with me. Bye. Okay, so that's how the video came together. I did use my little microphone to do a voiceover just because it was a little bit longer of a video. So I didn't want to just do like clips together, kind of make it more engaging by talking. But now I'm ready to export that when I'm finished, but we're not done yet because what I'm going to do, I'm going to go leave the project. I guess I need to screen record this too. I'm going to leave the project and I'm going to hold it down and hit duplicate. Okay. I can leave the words if I want to. I'm going to delete the voiceover on this one and get rid of the footage of me spinning at the beginning. And I'm literally going to start with me packing that one kit. And I'm just deleting everything that's not that first kit that I packed, that one first package. So this one gets to the second package, so I'm gonna delete that. I might keep the end when I walk to the post office. So yeah, I'm literally just deleting everything. And now this is a whole nother video. Oh, hold on. This package, I actually forgot to show my logo sticker, so I'm gonna pretend like that's that package. There's a lot of clips. Oops. Okay, so now I have a whole other video and I can do that again for packing the deluxe sanitation kit. I can do it again if I wanted to for the, even though those two clips were shorter, packing the annotated books. But I think I did do a video where I filmed making the annotated books, so that could be the end of that video. So basically just like cutting and splicing the different footage I had to make different videos and just working smarter, not harder. So that's one, two. I can split those two, that one into two, so that's three. I can use that one video of me flipping through the book to show the end of the other video that I created, just of me actually having to make them. So that's four pieces of content right there. Um, so yeah, just being creative with it and thinking like through like what you can do. There's a lot of different options. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that inspired you or, gave you some ideas for your shop and what you could do different, to keep marketing on social media. um, I hope you're having a great day or night wherever you are. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment. Let me know anything you want to see next. I do have a couple of ideas, and I think I have something ready for next week. But I'm all ears. I'd love to help out. So thank you for hanging out with me. I know this was a little bit of a longer one than what I've been doing lately, but I appreciate your support. All right, bye guys.